Just pulled up to the bank, about to go make my monthly deposit. I wanted to share with you guys a few financial tips I've learned in my 30s that will have saved me so much time and money in my 20s.
I've been giving myself permission to spend as much as I want, no matter where my account balance is at, no matter where I think things are going, or what I should be doing based on logic. I allow myself to spend as much as possible. And let me tell you, the results have been crazy.
Here are the two worst financial mistakes I ever made. And this is coming from a normal person. I'm not super financially successful, but I'm also not a disconnected rich person who's going to tell you, well, after I sold my sixth property, then I didn't quite get the return on the seventh property. No, it's nothing like that. For people that are closer to my situation, you know, you're starting to have some money that you're looking to save up or invest or whatever. These are two of the worst mistakes I ever made.
Hello, everybody. Today we are talking about good versus bad financial advice, at least my opinion on it. Feel free to agree or disagree. Let me know in the comments. Let's get into this.
The worst financial advice I ever got. The worst is this. Trade in your perfectly fine older car that might break down at some point for a nicer car. And you can just make payments just for a couple years because you know what? That car's going to be more reliable anyways. Guess what? It wasn't more reliable. It was a lot of money per month. And it made me stress out so bad. My car payment at the time was half as much as my rent. And I'm thinking, what am I doing? This is ridiculous. And the sad part is, I did that several times until I said, okay, this is enough. No more car payments. I'm going to figure this out one way or the other. And I'm done. So I was. So tell me, what's the worst financial advice that you got? Put it in the comments. And hi, my name is Beth. I am a former credit counselor and I help women go from...
Okay, I think that's enough of that.
Some of the worst financial advice I've heard is when people say, stop spending $5 on coffee or stop eating out and save your money because you're conditioning your brain to live with less instead of learning how to make more. You don't get rich by playing defense, you get rich by playing offense. How do you think I got all this? It wasn't from cutting coffee out of my life. And I know some of the finance bros in the comments are going to be like, but it's about controlling your spending habits. Yeah, that applies when you're trying to get a 6-year loan for a $30,000 car or spend $2,000 on a designer t-shirt. It does not apply to a $5 cup of coffee. If you think that saving $5 a day is going to make you rich, you will never be rich. In reality, your goal shouldn't be to save $5 a day on coffee. It should be to increase your income past a certain threshold. The magic number here is around $12,000 a month, because if you can make that much, everything in your life changes and things become insignificant. You can get coffee, you can go out to eat whenever you want. You don't have to worry about your rent. You remove a lot of stress from your life. Instead of trying to live with nothing and struggle and have a terrible life, why not try to increase that number so you can actually enjoy? Because there's two types of people. There's people that save their $5 on coffee for 20, 30 years, and by the time they're 50 years old, they retire with like $200,000 in the bank, and they think it's great. And there are the people that raise their income and actually get to enjoy their life in their 20s or 30s. They get to go on vacation while they have energy. They get to spend time with their family. They get to do things that they can't do when they're older. There's no point in getting a Lamborghini when you're 70 years old. It's a lot better when you get it younger. And the only way to do that is by going on offense. And my last piece on this, people are like, oh, but you make it sound so easy to increase your income. It is. You have access to the internet. Learn skills that make you valuable. Learn marketing. Learn sales. Learn social media. Think about all the people that are rich in the world that are young nowadays because of the internet. If you're lazy, I get it. Save your $5 on coffee. But if you want a good life, you want to get rich young, make more money. Some of the worst financial advice I've...
Okay, all right. I wanted to show that one because in general, this is a bad video. This is a bad video, bad advice. Right, you can absolutely save money and still succeed in life. Honestly, that's probably the best way to do it. It's safer for sure, right? And the part of his video that I do like is trying to make more money, but that doesn't really have to contradict saving money. You can still save money and try to make more money. You know what I mean? Like, that's just stupid. He's saying to just spend your money on $5 coffees each day. I did the math real quick with the calculator just to save some time, and that's $1,825. $1,825 a year, which might not sound like a lot to some people, but you could use that money, right? You could save that money in case of emergencies. Maybe you want to go on a vacation or something. You can also invest some of that money into something, which I think is what you should do. You should save money and invest some of it into something else to try to make more money. That part I agree with. I think we have a similar agreement on that at least. But his just spending money like it doesn't matter is stupid. That's bad advice. That's just dumb. That's dumb advice. This guy, he's in like a nice apartment, but chances are it's probably just for the video. This guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. This video alone has like 500 likes on it. So I just want to point that out. I know you can't see it. Let me go to the next one.
I just saw an online influencer who purportedly was very successful, and you dig into their past, and I look them up on LinkedIn, and you see that they only worked in corporate America for 3 years, and yet they say that they've achieved all these things, even though their junior title, it's like analyst. And they're like, oh, but like I worked on the Wall Street floor. Oh, I'm this and that. And you hear them giving out advice like you can't save yourself to wealth. And I just know that she is full of shit. Like, I just know that she's full of shit because I did save myself to wealth. And let me tell you, you save yourself to wealth because if you don't learn how to save, you will not have the money to invest. It's pure logic. How can you invest if you have no money to invest because you spent it all? So I hate this phrase, you can't save yourself to wealth. I would beg to disagree. Billions, millions of immigrants would disagree. If you notice why so many immigrants came to this country with $20, $30, and before you know it, they own houses. I'm talking about immigrants in the 90s and the 80s and the 70s. How did they get their houses? They were really good at saving. If you're the daughter of poor immigrants like I was, you see, we live all of their saving values. I mean, our parents are cheap as dirt. Our parents are cheap. It's ingrained in us, right? That first generation immigrant mentality. So the first step is saving. Do not believe in these fake influencers online that are giving out irresponsible advice like you can't save your way to wealth, which is insanity because you absolutely need to learn how to save. Most millionaires would agree with me, including Warren Buffett. He would agree that saving is critical. There's a reason why the man does not have a multitude of private jets, right? There's value. You look at the people that have achieved the most success, the most wealthiest generation, the children of the Depression, the people that made it out of the Depression. Why did they become successful? Because they were the kings and queens of delayed gratification. Delayed gratification requires you to be able to delay the gratification of saying, I'm not going to buy this Louis Vuitton purse. I'm not going to buy this brand new Rivian. I'm going to deny these purchases till later that I can really afford it, and or just like not buy it at all because they're just insane luxury goods that I don't need, right? Delayed gratification is what creates the most amount of millionaires, the skill set. And being able to delay gratification is usually shown in your ability to save and squeeze dollars out of money that you earn. So your post-tax dollars, the money that you're earning, you're paying the taxes, the post-tax dollars, how much of that can you save? That's the name of the game. Because if you can save a lot of that money, that will give you the money to buy stocks, to buy real estate, to buy assets. I just saw an online influencer who...
Okay. See, I like that video. I think that's a good video. I think it's got some good advice. I don't know how much I agree with like the whole immigrant thing in the 60s or 70s, 80s, 90s nonsense. I would say a little bit older than that, and it wouldn't just be immigrants either. But I agree with the overall premise, right? Saving money is a good thing. And as she said, right, investing it in the end, which is what I was just talking about, because that's how you should be doing it. You should be saving money, using a bit of it to invest into something, hopefully making more money from that. It's probably not going to happen right away. That's just not how things work. Don't expect a quick fix. Just, let me go to the next one. But I like that video.
I can't be the only one who thinks that the advice of just budget or just create a budget is the most invalidating thing on earth, right? Like, please tell me it's not just me. How can you be so blatantly ignorant to not acknowledge the fact that there are so many systemic issues such as stagnant wages compared to the rising cost of inflation? not to mention systemic inequality, double standards, lack of financial education, as well as nervous system issues, mindset beliefs, the stories that have been inherited, passed down to you that you've learned through society and lived experience. I'm sorry, and you want me to take all of that and just create a budget?
Yes. Yes, I do. I do want you to just take all that and create a budget. These are just a bunch of like victimhood excuses. Oh, woe is me. I can't do this. This is hard. You can. You choose not to. It is for your benefit. You're the one who's being an idiot by not doing that. And I didn't show the comments on the other video of the dude with the bad advice, kind of like this one, but the comments are agreeing with these people. No. No, that's bad. That's bad advice. Don't listen to this nonsense. Budget if you can. Absolutely. Try to make a budget. It'll help. Save money, invest. Let me go to the next one.
I've seen a lot of financial gurus spouting trash financial tips and money advice. Here are 4 things these hustlers are not telling you. Day trading. 85% of people lose money in the long term. I hate to break it to you, you will not be the exception. Debt, it's not evil. You do not need to be 100% debt free. I'm not. I have a mortgage. In fact, every rich person you know, your favorite celebrity, probably bought their house with a mortgage. Because if you can borrow money for cheaper than what you can make with it, you've created a money printer. When poor people borrow money, we call it debt, but when rich people borrow money, we call it leverage. Starbucks is not the reason you can't afford a house. If you cut out a $5 latte every day, in a year, you'd save $1,825. You can't buy a house with that, but you could buy something cooler than coffee. And last, you should not cancel old credit cards. It will shorten your credit history and it will ding your credit score. Just downgrade the card instead. I'm Vivian, your rich BFF, and your favorite Wall Street girly, and I don't have any get-rich-quick schemes here, but I can teach you to be good with your money. Follow to learn more. I'm seeing a lot of financial...
Well, I mostly wanted to focus on that debt one. Obviously, debt can be good if used the right way, right? Credit card debt, if you don't overspend and you are able to pay it back, that can be good debt because it helps boost your credit score, which will help you get like a loan or a mortgage, as she put it. Personally, I would avoid the mortgage if I could. I don't know. I believe in owning things outright, but I know that's much easier said than done. Let me go to the next one.
Things that can ruin your finances in your 20s, because I've seen it happen to a lot of my friends and I don't want you guys to make the same mistake. Number 1, credit cards. Do not open up a credit card if you know you're not going to be able to use it responsibly. I only use my credit card like a debit card. I only spend what I know I can pay off. I never spend more than what I actually have. If you spend more than what you have, you're going to have to then incur on interest. Interest is money that you're paying out of your pocket towards a credit card lender because you couldn't pay off your bills on time by the end of the month. Also drops your credit score, which is something you don't want, so it can only screw you over if you're not using your car responsibly. Number 2, buying a brand new car. I can understand the urge, the need, the desire for a brand new car. You're in your 20s, you're in your prime. Starting off your 20s and putting yourself in unnecessary debt, that's not really something that you need, but more like a want. For example, you could have bought a car that's used, but half the price, and you probably could have paid that full in cash. Because the truth is, you only need a car to get you from point A to point B. If you care so much about the looks and all the aspects of that, then, you know, that's a different story, but I don't think it's worth it if you can't afford it. Number 3, not saving for retirement. You're probably thinking, I'm young, why do I need to care about retirement right now? I'm in my 20s, but the reason why you want to start when you're young is because the earlier you start, the more time your money will have to compound and to grow. Something you can't get back when you're 40 or 50 is the time for it to grow in all of those years. Things that can ruin your finances in your 20s.
Okay. That last one, right? Saving money for retirement, man. I wish people had given me better financial advice when I was younger. I didn't get like any at all, which I feel like is probably the case for most people. Yeah, if you can still save money, save some money, please, and try to invest some of it. Like I've been saying, I'm just gonna keep repeating that this whole video. I am absolutely. As she said, for the cars, right? A lot of people buy new cars mostly for the look. I'm gonna be honest, especially if you're a woman. That's what a lot of women do. Very foolish, very dumb. A story my uncle told me, he had a very old, beat up car, you know, ugly on the outside, literally had a hole in the middle of the car. You could see the road when you're driving, right? Good car though. Car worked. He drove that a bunch. The point is, he didn't focus on how nice it looked. He focused on how well it ran. So please, if you're ever going to get a car, I recommend old cars. I recommend old cars that are built well. Let me go to the next video.
Here are the 2 worst financial mistakes I ever made. And this is coming from a normal person. I'm not super financially successful, but I'm also not a disconnected rich person who's going to tell you, well, after I sold my 6th property, then I didn't quite get the return on the 7th property. No, it's nothing like that. For people that are closer to my situation, you know, you're starting to have some money that you're looking to save up or invest or whatever. These are 2 of the worst mistakes I ever made. Number 1, sports gambling. Don't do it. The only way I can tell you it's okay to sports gamble is if you have a healthy relationship with gambling, and that is that, like, you can put the occasional small amount of money on a game to, you know, just kind of have a good time with your friends or something like that. Gambling is an addiction just like any drug, just like anything else. But instead of hurting your body or your brain, it's going to kill your bank account. It is a sickness. It will get into your brain and it will destroy your financial life way faster than you realize. Like, my story with gambling was when I first started gambling on sports, I went up $7,000 within the first 4 months, right? The needle was in me. Okay. I was like, oh, I could probably never work again. I could just do this full time, blah, blah, blah. Going insane. Okay. Probably within a month or 2 of gaining that $7,000, I had lost all of it and then also down an additional $1,000. And then ever since that point, all I did was lose. I would win a little bit and then I would lose twice that amount until eventually I lost $12,000. So it's like alcohol. If you can maintain a very healthy, moderate relationship with it, then that's fine. But as soon as you understand that it's becoming a problem, as soon as you understand that it's becoming an addiction, you cannot do it. I'm telling you right now, it's designed to infect your brain. You will not win. This business wouldn't exist if you were going to win. People don't win. The companies win. The second thing is another form of gambling, the stock market. And I'm not telling people not to invest in the stock market. You should absolutely, if you're able to, put money into the stock market. But don't fool yourself into thinking that you're going to become a day trader. That is a mistake that I made, like a lot of people in 2020. I thought, oh, I'm going to become a day trader. I know a lot about stocks. Blah, blah, blah. No, I know nothing. There are people that dedicate their entire lives to studying financials, studying stocks, that are still wrong all the time. If you're one of those people that is your job is to study financial reports and understand companies, then that is when, like, actual day trading makes sense. The mistake that I made is that all of my money the entire time should have been going into long-term index funds. What I did was I took a bunch of money, I put it into certain stocks. Some of them did all right, so I was like, oh, I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. And then I put a bunch of money into other stocks and a bunch of them tanked, okay? The only stocks that have performed well consistently over time are long-term index funds. So if you're just going to dump your money in and forget about it, which is what you should do unless you are trying to day trade, which again, you shouldn't, unless you're trying to make that your long-term career, which you shouldn't, okay? Dump money into ETFs, forget about it, let it rise over time. It's going to crash. It will crash. That's an inevitability. People, doomsday every year. Oh, the stock market crash is coming. Yeah, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Okay. Keep investing. Keep putting money in, whether the stock market is high, whether the stock market is low. Pick index funds, dump it in, leave it, let it grow over time. The ones I recommend are the S&P, VTI, and VOO. Those are the ones that I'm most heavily invested in. So if you're like, you know, wherever you're at in life, if you're starting to get to the point where you have some savings, you're starting to think about investing money, don't do those things. There are 2 things that I screwed up that I now have the benefit of hindsight to tell you, do not do it. Here are the 2 worst financial mistakes.
Hey, I like that video. I think that's a good one. Something I meant to touch up on the other video, but kind of coincides with his, like, gambling, right? And how you get addicted. I would say kind of like credit cards. I meant to bring that up. Credit cards, obviously, they can be a tool for good, but they can also be a tool for evil. And I feel like most people screw that up. So if you're going to get a credit card, please be careful. Please be careful with your finances and what you spend money on. Only spend what you have in your bank account or what you know you will actually be able to pay back. Don't overdo it. Seriously, please. I just wanted to bring that up real quick. As for his stocks, what was it? S&P, he said, I've heard of S&P before. The other ones I have not. I would certainly like to get more into that at some point. If anyone has any advice on stocks and trading, please let me know in the comments. I'm certainly curious. Also, if you have any advice on good financial decisions and, you know, maybe some bad advice you've taken, also let me know in the comments, please. Moving on.
Going from making $100,000 a year to over $100,000 a month was actually a lot more simple than I ever could have imagined. In fact, one of the only things that I had to stop doing was taking advice from people who did not have the lifestyle that I wanted to live and who were not where I wanted to be and who didn't go through the transformation I wanted to have. And there were 3 pieces of advice I remember getting consistently that once I actually stopped listening to it, my financial situation improved dramatically. And the first thing that I stopped doing was I stopped trying to get multiple streams of income. That advice is for people who already have a crap ton of money and are now trying to grow that money and find ways to invest it and to continue to allow it to flourish, not for people who are literally still going deposit to deposit, paycheck to paycheck, or for people who even have maybe a little bit of breathing room, but if you literally, it will take you more than a year to save up for a down payment for a home, then you should not be having multiple streams of income. You should be worried about having one stream of income that you are literally revving up and that is like flowing tremendously for you before you ever think about switching and diverting your attention to anything else. The second piece of advice that was really trash now that I look back on it was saving. Saving is such a scam, y'all. And the reason is because like you can only save as much as you make. So if you make $50,000 a year and you're trying to save, you will never be able to save more than $50,000 a year. Whereas I literally made over $50,000 last week. And so now that I save, it actually makes sense because I have money to save. A lot of excess money after all of my bills, my expenses, and everything else have been paid to actually save. And so now it makes a huge difference. Whereas before, even when I was making $100K a year, I still did not have that much to save after everything was said and done. And I was just like, I've wasted so much time focusing on just getting the budget right and trying to cut things out when I really should have been focusing on increasing my income. The third thing I had to stop doing, which so many people are going to hate me for this, but waiting on anybody else to save me, waiting on the government, waiting on my parents, waiting on my friends, waiting on my employer, anybody but actual me and the Lord Jesus Christ. Jesus is the only one who can save me, okay? And so I put my faith in God, and then I put action to my faith and started figuring out solutions and doing things that were within my circle of control. I started being proactive instead of reactive, and instead of waiting on the next president to be elected or waiting on somebody around me to do something or for my employer to give me a raise or to recognize my talent, I said, no, I'm going to put myself in a position to where I am in control of the money that I'm bringing in and to where it is all on me, and work like it's all on you, and you pray like it all depends on God. And that is the vein that I started working in, and that's when I really started to see everything shifting for me. So if you are ready to get out of the middle class, to move from stability to a place of comfort and luxury, to be able to live and give more, then you may be perfect for what I do, which is course creation, where you can take your skills and knowledge and experience, turn it into an online program that you can sell on autopilot and literally work 5 to 10 hours a week to make $20, $30, $40, even $50,000 or more per month. And I have a training on my page that is no cost that goes over everything step by step. So I'll see you there. Going from
Okay, so the only one I agree with is the last one. Obviously, before she started talking about her financial course bullshit. Okay, yeah, you do have to put in the work in one way or another to make the money, right? And nobody's just gonna fucking hand it to you. Pardon my French. I don't know why that financial course stuff just upset me so much, because the first 2 things of advice were bad. I don't agree with those at all, bro. Okay, obviously I've already talked about saving quite a bit in this video. I won't harp on that anymore. This lady says she makes $50,000 a month. Lie. That's a lie. Obviously a lie. And she contradicts herself at the end of the video with the go to my financial course. I know she said it's free, right? But then how is she making money from it? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. She just talked about how she's making money from courses. Also, that would be a side thing, right? Where she's like, in the beginning, don't focus on trying to diversify your stream of income and make multiple sources work. Yeah, no, nonsense. She contradicts herself there. If you can get multiple streams of income, do it. Okay? I'm not saying you should try to focus on a whole bunch at one time. I think that's probably going to make your life way, way harder and you're not going to succeed. Focus on like 1, maybe 2, if it's relatively easy with what job you already have to try to make more money. I'm trying to do that myself right now. I'm not going to say it's working at the moment, but maybe it's what I've chosen. Maybe it's my lack of effort. Definitely a lack of money for one of the things, because I need money to help improve that one. It is what it is. Still, please don't take her advice from the beginning too at all. Please. Moving on.
I've been giving myself permission to spend as much as I want, no matter where my account balance is at, no matter where I think things are going, or what I should be doing based on logic. I allow myself to spend as much as possible. And let me tell you, the results have been crazy. I kid you not, my life has been literally increasing. I've been more tired because I've been working more in order to actually get the funds to be able to do what I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, look, it's happening for me, and I know it can happen for you, which is why I'm sharing this with you. I feel like we should stop saving as much as we do. No one else saves as much as poor people. Rich people invest their money in assets that bring back the income at rapid paces, or at least at certain percentages. The government is in straight debt. They're in straight debt because they already know that the value isn't in the money or in the dollar. It's actually just in the currency of transacting literal physical assets. That was a mouthful, but I just realized that saving is literally not the move. It's smart sometimes if you're saving to actually invest into something, but it's not really the game or the goal when you're trying to grow and you're trying to expand. Maybe try to stop saving. Maybe just try it. Just see what happens. Let me know in the comments if you could ever go crazy on that level. Let me know.
Okay. Well, I agree with the part with the saving money and investing it. Again, I've obviously brought that up multiple times in this video, so I'm also not going to focus on that too much. But don't just go spending all your money. That's stupid. That's bad advice. That's bad advice. Here, for instance, there's a comment, and I'm not going to show it, but saving money is like holding breath in. Saving is a scarcity mindset. I think saving is more like a foundation mindset, because you want a strong foundation so you can succeed, so you can stand up and get to work and succeed. All right? I don't like that comment. I don't like this video, except for the saving to invest part. Again, I agree with that a little bit, but just a little bit from the savings to investment. Sorry, I'm still talking. Let me go to the next one.
Up to the bank, about to go make my monthly deposit. I wanted to share with you guys a few financial tips I've learned in my 30s that will have saved me so much time and money in my 20s. There has to be a point where you stop fucking spending money. Consumerism is the perfection of slavery. They want you to stay in the rat race. They keep you buying shit to keep up with the Joneses. They keep pushing the success mark further and further. Making $100,000 a year is $1 million now. For 3 years, bro, I just stopped buying shit. Stopped going on dates. Stopped going shopping, buying clothes. I stopped taking trips with the fellas. Got the same shit on, wearing this shit for years. The things that you think you want, don't even want. You want the feeling that you think those things will give you. You don't need that shit. It's already inside of you. Second thing that I had to learn, the money that you do make, immediately put it to work. If you don't get up and go to work, you won't make money. Why should your money be doing the same thing? As soon as it hits your bank account, don't let it sit there. Put that shit to work. Let's say I made $10,000. $7,000 of that is immediately going to work, and I'm going to figure out how to survive and live with that $3,000. $5,000 of that $7,000, I'm reinvesting back into the business to make me more money. I'm hiring new editors, cameraman, help me record more content, more team members, help me maintain, operate, and better my course so that I can help you guys. All of the money that I make is going back into what I already do. And the other $2,000 I am putting into my stock portfolio. Money that is sitting in your bank account makes no money. Money sitting in a brokerage account or investment account yields between 10 and 12% on average. You don't need a shit ton of money to start your investment. portfolio. You can start with $100. If you start today, compound interest will be your best fucking friend. Let's say you're 30 years old, you invest $10,000 into the stock market, and every month you add $500. By the time you retire, you will have $3.2 million for retirement. Let's say you invested the exact same amount, but you started at 20, you would have $10.3 million. $7 million is the difference between starting in your 20s and starting in your 30s. Third thing I would have done differently, stop taking advice from and hanging around poor people. I didn't say broke, I said poor people. Poor people have poor mentalities, they have poor habits, and they rub off on you. Thought making $50,000, $60,000 a month was nearly impossible till I started hanging around people who making fucking $500,000 a month. Your circle, it can even be a cap table where you split shares with the people in your circle, or it can be your cage. That poor advice, it can come from your parents and family members. What they made in the 70s for $12 an hour, we would have to make $100 an hour to have that same type of lifestyle. Going to school for 5 years, buying a house, and working for the government for 50 years of your life is slavery. Hope this video helps. Let me go in the bank or somebody get on my ass. Peace.
Okay. So obviously, I think for the most part, that's a good video. Some parts, again, I also will disagree with a little bit, at least. But I like the, right, again, the investing. Smart. Agree with that. Maybe not all that amount of money, but hey, each their own. Maybe that will work out better for him or others. He at least had money to prove that he's making money, which is more than you can say for a lot of the other people who are giving you advice on, oh, don't save your money to make money. Right? I mean, it felt like a slightly better one. At least he had the money there in his hand. His not overspending on garbage, right? I wholeheartedly agree with that. That last one, though, the being around poor people, I kind of get that. Not wanting to be around people who are poor, especially if they don't actually have like a hard work ethic, that I get. But I think that's something you can tell from people just by getting to know them for a little while. I mean, it doesn't take that long. And if that's the kind of person that they are, yeah, I'd probably avoid them too. I would recommend it. The taking advice from poor people, I'm going to have to disagree with that one. Because from the sounds of it, that dude was poor before he started making money, right? There's a lot of rich people who were poor who made money. Do you think that they didn't take advice from other people? Sometimes those things work out, sometimes they don't. You have to choose wisely, you have to think wisely. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm poor. I'm poor. I live paycheck to paycheck right now. I'm trying to improve my life situation, and you can help me by clicking subscribe, liking the video, and leaving a comment. I think my advice is okay, right? I think it's good. I'm saying some of the same things that other people are saying. I'm disagreeing with some things that other people are saying, like those dudes, like the dude in the apartment, the dude who's walking around his car is like, don't save your money. Don't buy the $5 coffee. Spend your money on the $5 coffee. I think that's bad advice. I think that's bad advice. I think that should be obvious to anybody who's not an idiot, personally. Maybe that's just me. Do you have any financial advice for me or others? If so, leave a comment. What do you recommend? What do you recommend that I maybe didn't bring up or I didn't say so elegantly with my words? Please. What is some bad financial advice you've taken that has hurt you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.